goggles on, and there we go. We are back online, forming our... See, I got that in my head now. All right. Welcome back to Scuba and the Rye.
Rye Guy. This guy is Rye Guy.
Yes. All right, here we go for our Witcher Episode 4 review. The Bank of Banquets, Bastards, and Burials.
This is the episode I consider the light bulb goes on.
This is where you hit this. Now, for me, it's like I saw the end of Episode 3 and I just kept going.
Yeah.
So,
I noticed
with
it
that in
3.
mind, let's get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. Number 1, if you have not watched The Witcher yet, this review will have spoilers, so go to Netflix, watch The Witcher, come back. Also, being a family person, normally our stuff with family, keep in mind, The Witcher is definitely not a kid show. It is TVMA, straight up. So keep that in mind when you're checking it out with the little ones around, or whatnot.
Definitely, it pushes that TVMA to the extreme.
Yeah, we're even kind of dancing that a little bit as we talk about it, but we're not going overboard. Anyways, with that, if you do like how our approach to reviews and our opinions on the material based on our experiences, by all means, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, even give us a like, and share this video out via your social media channels. That would really help the show out. Also, a shout out and a thank you to Syrinscape for the background music that you're hearing as we talk. Take your game to the next level. Check out Syrinscape.com. And with that, spoilers. You've been warned.
Here we go, episode
4. Just starting this off with that dude in the bar telling his story. And it's like he's covered in filth. And he's telling this story. And then it's oh wow, Geralt's so stingy on the details. And Yesker is sitting there. It's
like, give me everything.
It's like, all of it.
Like, Geralt is dead, and here comes...
No, he's like, Geralt's dead, he was eaten. He's like, oh, he's fine. What? And then Geralt walks in the door, and it's just like, wow.
It just is the epitome of Geralt of Rivia, and also the stories you hear about.
The Bard has spent all this time, because he at the end of the second episode where he does that whole "Pay to your Witcher," that song, and it's like all of a sudden.
Catchy.
All of a sudden, it's like the whole tavern sings it. You can just see Geralt is not amused. And we get our first bathtub scene.
We do.
Dude, because everybody talks about those bathtub scenes in the games with Geralt.
Oh yeah, there are some interesting
bat scenes,
bathing scenes.
But as he's getting that, and Yesker wants him to accompany him to a dinner party in Sintra for the Queen Calanthe's daughter's betrothal.
Yeah.
So that clarifies that sets our timeline.
Yeah. This is where when you watch when you see Geralt go into the court and you see all these different political factions come into play, everything comes together. At least for me. This is where
it's like
all the connections of the timelines come, because I knew leading up to this they weren't the same timelines. Mm-hmm. This is where the connections came.
Yeah, we could definitely tell there's a timeline for Geralt and Yesker, and then there's a timeline for Yennefer, which is set earlier, and then we have Ciri, who's set later, but we're not quite sure how far later yet.
Yes.
So Geralt's about to attend this dinner party as a bodyguard for Yesker, because Yesker got himself into some trouble.
Yeah, he needs to be protected from certain individuals.
So you definitely tell, and I think it helps because in the games, some of those big high society functions, Geralt does not like attending.
He doesn't like attending, but he does. And then you have your choice of doing certain things.
So he goes to the dinner party.
Yes.
And it's like, all right, and then Queen Calanthe comes in.
Yes.
And I've got to say, that is an entrance I would never forget.
That is an entrance that shows you don't mess with her.
There's a reason she's called the Lioness, and it's that whole tomboy type thing. Because queens, you think regal, you don't, that she rolls in mud and guts and gore, and
with the sword ready to chop.
And her first thing is beer.
Yes, give me the drinks, let them flow. And
it's just like, okay, we can definitely tell this is violent.
Yes,
very violent time that they're doing this.
Yeah,
but and of course, The Witcher and her having these conversations.
Oh yeah,
you can tell they both don't like being in there.
They don't like being in there. They'd rather be roaming or fighting or something else.
And you can tell Calanthe is a slave to the societal expectations.
Yeah, she dangles that line between what she wants to do to what she has to do.
Mm-hmm. So we'll leave that there because that dinner party gets a lot more interesting later.
So there's some other stuff that happens.
So, Yennefer. Do we want to talk Yennefer or Ciri?
Go Yennefer.
Yennefer? All right.
Yeah.
So we pick up with Yennefer. She's been in court for 3 decades.
Yes.
So now we have an understanding of she became a sorceress 3 decades before what Geralt did in the in Sintra or Temeria.
Yeah.
With King Foltest.
Yes.
But she's been there. She's traveling with the Queen Calais of Lyria, and all of a sudden they're ambushed, and there's an assassin trying to kill the queen.
Oh yes.
So now you have this dash, and there's a conversation about the fact that Yennefer has moved herself up from being looked at as just a means of producing children to being a woman of power, and that the queen is kind of envious of that. And then, but on the same token, it's like she has a baby that she's taking care of.
Yeah.
And that baby, all that baby cares about is her mother. So there's an interesting kind of subtle thing, because it's like, okay, with Yennefer, she made this choice 3 decades later, maybe starting to have some buyer's remorse here.
Oh yeah, you start to see, because of her, what she thought the life of the mage would be, it wasn't what she expected. And
you can tell she's so cynical.
Yeah, she's like, watching this episode and watching Yennefer, you see the progression of her character coming in full circle, what you know, but also it builds upon that idea of like, maybe certain structures within the mage hierarchy I don't want to deal with.
Mm-hmm. And so the assassin's tracking them and kills the queen.
Yes.
And forces Yennefer to flee with the baby. Unfortunately, the baby doesn't make it.
Yes, and that was the trigger point for Yennefer going down her own path.
She's
like, I'm done. I'm doing my thing.
So she went off on her own devices. And then, meanwhile, Ciri has gone into this woods. It's a Broccolin forest. And meets the Dryads.
Yes,
and has to go through some interesting trials there.
Yeah, you get to see a little bit of revelation of both her own past, but also her powers.
Yeah, I think it's more her powers than her past.
Yeah,
because you can definitely tell. You're definitely getting hints of that.
Yeah.
But if you want a good prelude to what her powers, how crazy powerful she potentially is.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the dinner party.
Oh yes.
So, by this point, the whole point of this dinner party is for Queen Calanthe to find a suitable husband for her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently, politically, they've already made the arrangements, so this is all just pomp and circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
To make it appear that everybody has an equal footing, but they don't.
No. It does it does another great thing of leveling out the world, showing you the different bits and pieces of the world, but also showing how certain things, if they happen, they have to happen, which is the law of surprise. It introduces the rule of the law of surprise, which is, I think, one of the best use of
plot devices.
Plot devices without being too overbearing, because it forces you into progression, but into an unpredictable progression, because you really don't know what's going to happen.
And this pretty much sets the relationship between Geralt and Ciri.
Yes, it shows you how things are
how Ciri ended up with Geralt to begin with.
Yeah.
And that, or at least if you come in from the games,
yes,
You know, because Ciri wasn't a major player in the first game.
Yeah.
Or the second game, but she's a major player in the third game.
Yeah, that's
and
the
it's
sticking point.
Talking about how she ended up with Geralt, how she ended up at Kaer Morhen, and all of that. But it kind of does a lot of little lore pieces if you read with the books, and that is, okay, so Geralt's there. Queen Calanthe wants him to intervene at a strategic moment, which we're not sure what that is until this random knight out of nowhere bursts in and tries to claim the hand of the princess, and then you find out that the knight is cursed.
Yeah,
or he looks like a hedgehog.
Yeah,
so we'll call him Sonic. Nope. Copyright infringement. We can't do that.
His name is Dunny.
Yes. Okay. So Queen Calanthe's first reaction is kill him.
Yes. And Geralt's like, no.
No, Geralt intervenes as a look, he's been cursed. He's not a monster.
Yeah.
And then this whole thing about destiny and the law of surprise, and all of a sudden Queen Calanthe tries to kill Dunny, and her daughter just blasts everybody.
Yeah. This reveals that innate power that runs in the family, but also what goes down further into her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the point to where that connection clicked for me. This is where it showed me how all the stories intertwined, what the purpose is for every story, and it gave an emphasis as a very that MacGuffin for things to come down the road.
Yeah, and then of course Geralt intervenes and saves Dunny. The two, he and the princess are married, and Geralt's like, all right, my job's here is done. I'm leaving. And Dunny's like, I have to repay you. I have a life debt. And Geralt's you know what? Law of surprise, same as you. And the Queen's like, no. And then all of a sudden you find out the princess is pregnant. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You really? You couldn't keep from throwing up just a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Nope. So, yeah, it's really kind of crazy.
So this is when, like I said, this is when everything comes together, and this is where I think the series kicks it in a high gear, and then the rest, the second half is where like consequences ramp up high, like true, you do not know what will really happen with the characters. Like, there's no predictability to any of the storylines. Things are about to hit the fan.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like, it's interesting to see how that kind of plays in there. And then, of course, Ciri in the forest drinks directly from the tree to tell whether or not she's in bad intention for the forest, and she ends up having a vision from a walkabout. It's just like, okay, yeah, we're kind of just not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting.
Something is just not going to work out very well.
Here's a little tidbit. I don't know, because I don't remember this in the first couple of episodes, but definitely with this one, the credits. Did you notice anything about the credits?
No, I went right straight to the next episode.
Now you got to go back, because the credits, the first couple episodes didn't have music.
Well, I did notice the music, but I just went to
if you listen to it, I listened to a couple of it. It actually preludes, it foreshadows into the next set of episodes.
Okay.
So it's like they really are layering this show.
Yeah.
And as we're taking longer and longer to talk about each episode, because layer on layer on layer on layer, and it's like,
you start to get more revelations of the world, got more purpose between the characters, and also some other preluding facts of why.
But we can definitely see some characters are starting to connect.
Yeah, everything's starting to converge.
So that was definitely a fun episode. So with that, we'll leave off. Go back, check out the credits, listen to that song. It's interesting.
It will get you.
And with that, stay tuned for our next review.
Peace.